Hello students, hope you are doing well. So today we are going to discuss about on is a part of your fundamentals of computer science subject unit 5 emerging computer technologies. So this unit describes about all the advanced technologies in computer science. So as a part of unit 5 today you are going to learn about distributed systems. Distributed networks or net systems. Before going to distributed networks, let us see what is the difference between a computer network and a distributed network. So a computer network is a network or it is a collection of computers or collection of nodes in which each node can communicate with each other by passing some messages. So in a normal computer network you will just pass a message from one computer to another, whereas in distributed network the term distributed itself indicates sharing of resources. So sharing of resources, what is a resource? So in a computer the computing resources are meant for either like memory or processing speed, the data or the storage. So all these comes under the resources of a computer. So distributed network enables us to share the resources and compute the complex task within a short span of time. As well as in distributed computing, due to the sharing of resources, like when a number of systems are connected into a network, this distributed network enables those computers to share those resources among all the computers available in a network. So one of the popular form of distributed network is a client server network. So what is a client server network? So say for example, if you are browsing something in your internet, so if you are searching for a website or you're based on a word, if you are searching some websites through Google, so when you type a word from your system, so your system gives some information. So your the system or the user who you are trying to, the system from which you are trying to get some information is known as client system. So you are requesting something to get from the Google. So the system which makes requests, either that request may be of some websites or some data or something else. So the system or the computer which makes request in order to get some data is known as a client system. And then the server is a system which accepts the request given by the client, process the request and sends back the response to the client system. So all the information or all the softwares or information, everything will be present in the server system, and whichever the information is required by the user, so user will try to request the server for the particular information, and the server processes the request given by the client and sends back the requested information to the client. So sending back of that requested information to client is known as response. So in this architecture, so a client server architecture, all the permissions or all the permissions and the rights will be present with the server system, whereas client will have the will only request the server about some information. Okay, So that is about client server architecture. So this is one of the type of distributed network. So now let us see some of the key terms used in distributed networking. So the first one is distributed computing. It is a branch of computer science that studies about distributed systems and uses them in the computational problems. So a complex computational task is nothing but the task which you are going to perform, or which you are going to compute the solution using your computers in a network. So such a complex task can be divided into many different small tasks, and each of which can be solved by one or more computers. So these computers are physically distributed within some geographical areas. So that is about distributed computing. And the next key term you are going to learn is distributed system. So we said distributed computing is a study, as a branch of computer science which studies about distributed systems. So then what is a distributed system? So a distributed system is a group of computers. Okay, so is a group of computers working together, and these group of computers appear as a single computer to the user. So that the user thinks the whole process is going on within a single system, but in background all these group of computers will combine their resources like memory, processing and all, and make the complex task to be easier. These components, these computers and the components of this group of computers communicate with each other by passing messages from one computer to another. And why we are using this is, the main purpose of using this distributed networking is because of sharing resources. In a normal network, you just will communicate with one system to another through transferring some data. But if you want to execute a complete task, say for example you need a 4 GB of RAM, 4 GB of memory, main memory, in order to accomplish a complete task. So if your system have only lesser amount of memory than the, say for example you have only 2 GB of RAM. So now in order to accomplish our task, say for example task X, so this task X can be executed only if you have enough memory, that is 4 GB, but only you have is 2 GB. So what this distributed network do is, when two systems of 2 GB RAM, so when two systems with 2 GB memory, main memory, are connected to each other using distributed network, these two computers, so these two systems or computers will share their resources. That is, this system will act as if it is having the complete 4 GB of memory, because the 2 GB present in other system will also be shared with the first system in a network, so that it appears as a complete 4 GB memory is present in a single system. So now we can easily accomplish the task X in a computer using the distributed system. So this is the main advantage of using distributed systems. Now let us see what are the features available in distributed networking system. So the first feature is fault tolerance. So what is fault tolerance? So fault tolerance is nothing but even if a computer fails, so we are telling a group of computers are connected in a distributed network. So even if in those group of computers, even if a single system fails on this network, the system should continue providing the services to the user. So that capacity is known as fault tolerant. It is capable of overcoming the faults even if a single system has undergone the fault. Then second is the number of computers present in a network. So the number of computers and the type of network topology it is using is not known in distributed networking. Okay, so number of computers which are connected into a network is not known, and the topology, like you have studied in computer networks about star topology, ring topology, mesh, hybrid, all these topologies, the type of topology which your distributed network is going to use is not known before, because as soon as your distributed networking starts working with a problem, there may be dynamic changes. That is, during the execution, memory may be shared, processing may be shared, and so if a predefined topology is set at the first before starting your complex task execution, they may not support all the topologies all the time. So in order to make it dynamic, that is, in order to make the connection available for each and every task, your distributed network will dynamically arrange topology and then provide the services. Okay, so that is the second feature we have. And the third is each computer in a distributed network has only a limited view. That is, all the computers in a distributed network may not be visible to all other computers. Only if you want to perform a task, and if you need only say for example some 5 systems are connected in a network. Okay, so each consists of 2 GB of main memory, that is your RAM. So now you want to execute a task X. Say for example, let us think it as a video game. So you want to execute a video game in your system. So in order to execute this, you need a 5 GB of main memory. Let us say a 5 GB of main memory is needed. So now you just need 3 systems in order to gain 5 GB of memory to execute your program. So in order to execute this program X or this video game X, you only need to have the knowledge about these 3 distributed systems. You don't need to bother about the remaining systems present in the network. So distributed network has a limited view of systems present in the network. And the fourth feature it have is a distributed system may lack a global clock. So it may lack a global clock, that is, a distributed system may not contain a common system clock for all the systems present in the distributed network. As we know that each and every system will have a system clock. So every system will have a system clock which will generate ticks. So what is a tick? It is the smallest unit of time in which each tick or each tick will give the amount of time required in order to execute one instruction. So the number of ticks per second will give the number of instructions a processor can execute per second. Okay, so each and every system will in a network will have a system clock. Then when these systems are connected into a distributed network, each system have a separate system clock in it, and all the system clocks may not have the same time when an instance of time is taken. Say for example, at present, if we consider all the timings of a system clock, all the times of all the system clocks present in all the systems of a distributed network, then we may not find the same time present in all the systems. So it may have some difference of at least seconds or fraction of seconds. So then what this distributed network do is it considers the average time of all the system clock timings. Say for example, if we have two different times, we have two systems in a network, and two systems have two different system clock timings, then those timings were taken and an average is taken from both the timings, and that average time will be considered as a global time for all the systems in the network. And then one disadvantage we have in network systems is distributed network is there are more number of security risks. So these are the features of distributed networking. So now, how to form a distributed network? Okay, so in order to connect a computer network, you're going to use some connections like LAN or Ethernet connections. So in order to make such a network into a distributed network, each and every system present in a distributed network should have a software called distributed program. So this distributed program should be installed in each and every system. So this program enables the system in order to share its resources with other systems present in the network, so that it can appear as a single system to the other users. So a distributed network can be managed by a network management software, and that software is known as a distributed program. This program is responsible for managing data, and then allocate network bandwidth, to provide access control mechanisms, access control mechanisms are nothing but the permissions to which the data can be transferred. So that permissions given to a system in order to whether that system can accept the data received or not. So as we are telling that we have shared resources in our systems, and then if you are sending, say for example, this is our network with 4 systems. So if you are sending from A to D, if you are sending from A to D a message, you need to either pass through B or through system C. So now if you are sending a message or you are sending data, as all the four systems are sharing their resources, there may be a chance of receiving system B may receive the message you are sending to system D. So in order to provide the access control that system B should not access the message, only system D should access the message, that access control mechanisms are provided by this distributed program. And the range of applications where distributed program is involved starts right from the online games. So mostly our online games use this distributed network. Say for example, you have a game like Ludo. So with Ludo game, we can use our own mobile in order to play with our friends, but your friends may play the game from their own mobile phones, right? So but it appears in your mobile like as if all the four players are present in your system. So that will be a good example for your distributed networking. And this distributed networking also works in similar way to parallel computing. So what is a parallel computing? So in parallel computing, we can also accomplish a task in a simultaneous way. Like say for example, you have divided a complex task into 3 to 4 subdivisions or modules. So these 4 modules can be executed simultaneously using 4 different computers. Then what is the difference between this parallel computing and distributed computing? That is, this parallel computing is called a tightly coupled system. So what is a tightly coupled system? It is all the systems present in this parallel computing network will share a common resource. That is, say for example, you have 4 systems in your network. All these 4 systems will commonly have a memory, and this memory will be shared by the 4 systems. Okay, whereas in distributed computing, all the 4 systems will have a separate memory, and if necessary they combine that memory and use it for accomplishing a complex task. Okay, so organizations grow more and more using this distributed networks. So they make use of this distributed network in order to make the complex task easier. So nowadays these distributed organizations using these distributed networkings are going for cloud service providers instead of client server architecture, because in client server architecture, when there are too many requests from the client, your server may not work properly or it may not respond properly. So for this reason, many organizations are going for cloud service providers in order to manage their networks and data. So this is about distributed networking. In next video we'll see about peer-to-peer computing.